Hello, you're listening to Sending the Experts with Georgina Durrant. This podcast is all about teaching and supporting children and young people with special educational needs and disabilities, SEND. My name is Georgina Durrant. I'm the host of this podcast brought to you by Twinkl SEND. As a former teacher in SENDCo myself, I wanted to create a platform to share some of the amazing things that my guests are doing to support learners with SEND. So whether you're listening on your commute, tuning in whilst walking your dog, or curled up on the sofa with a nice cup of coffee, thank you so much for joining us. In this episode, I'm delighted to be joined by Amanda Protheroe. Amanda is she's the parent educational content lead for SEND at Twinkl. And drawing on her experience, both as a class teacher and a SENDCo in primary schools, as well as her personal experience of SEND within her family, she is passionate about supporting parents and children in the SEND community and providing support when it is most needed. And we're having a very special Christmas episode, aren't we, Amanda, to help support over the Christmas holidays. So hello,
Yeah.
thank you so much for joining us, Amanda.
Hi, thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. So tell us about your experience. I've done a little bit of a roundup, but there's obviously way more to share. And importantly, I always ask people this, why are you so passionate about supporting, well, for you, parents of children with SEND in particular?
I think it started for me when I was younger. I've grown up with a sibling, so my brother, who's 10 years younger than me, has autism and is non-speaking. So for me, that was the start of me just being interested in supporting families and children with SEND. Obviously, understanding a little bit about the challenges of parenting and having a sibling and a young person in the family with SEND. I think that's where it kind of started, and I've
Yeah,
got
that
a
makes
really close relationship with my brother. So it's kind of always he's always in the background wherever I go for a new job or whatever I'm doing. I always think of him.
yeah.
And then my passion continued when I went into teaching. So teaching Key Stage 2 children and then becoming a SENCo. So I really enjoyed working with families, and it's vital to get the right support for that child. So I hope to carry on sort of listening to parents and have using my experience in a school setting
Yeah.
to understand and support children further. And then my own children have got additional needs too. So having that perspective has made me even more wanted to support the SEND community
Yeah.
when, life is challenging. It's not easy to get that support and um, going through all the processes really. So yeah, that is where kind of my passion stems from and as it
Yeah.
continues and I'm really lucky to be able to support parents in my job.
Yeah, you've come at it from so many different angles there, haven't you? With your sibling, and then like your own children, and then through work as well. It's like you're living and breathing it, Amanda, as I know you are.
I am, yes.
Absolutely, which is lovely. And I think parents really relate to that, and it helps you sort of creating the right resources and creating the right support for parents when you truly understand it from so many different angles. And I imagine when you were a SENCo, you must have been very, very valuable having all those different perspectives as well. Like it's yeah, super, super helpful.
Yeah, I hope so. And I hope I did, support parents in a way and actually listen to them, which
Yeah,
that's what you need. Parents know their child the best.
yeah.
And obviously moving forward, that's what to have a successful relationship with a school or a parent, it's so important to be able to collaborate together.
Definitely. And like it's really hard because when I was a Senko as well, it's really, you feel like you've got to, as a Senko, you feel like you've got to be the person who knows the most about SEND. So like often when parents come to you, even though you don't mean it to be like that, you think that you should know the most about it so that you don't look bad. And it can be really hard to actually think, no, it's the parents that have all the expertise in this and they genuinely do know more about that particular need and definitely about their child than you do. And I think that's something that we need to help support. I think that sort of parent Senko relationship by helping, yeah, on that one.
Definitely. And obviously parents are living it with it 24 hours, it doesn't go away over the holidays or the
Yes.
weekend. So actually giving them and, given that support network at school, I hope was really
Yeah.
helpful. And I think it is definitely something that, it needs to be developed
Yeah.
further.
Yeah, definitely. So you mentioned your sibling, your brother with SEND, and he's an adult now. And what did Christmas, because we're talking about Christmas, we've got our Christmas jumpers on. We can't really see them, but we have got Christmas jumpers on. Your sibling, what did Christmas look like in your household? Because we can know that Christmas, it's wonderful, but it can be tricky for lots of families. Not always, but sometimes for parents of children with SEND. So what was Christmas like for you? Was it different or was it the same or how
It's so hard to know because it's all we've really ever lived with, but
yeah, yeah,
it's a very it's different now because obviously I've moved out. I've got my own children,
Yeah.
but even now he loves Christmas. He after bonfire night's done, that's ticked off his list. He's then moves on to Christmas. So we get the Christmas pictures stuck on the windows. So if you walk past my mum and dad's house, it's just Christmas from sort of November. But
Oh, I
he
love
always
it.
loves decorating. He loves the house being Christmassy. So he's got a routine. He loves routine. So every Christmas Eve, my dad takes him to the seaside. He loves
Oh,
water, and that's
wow.
his interest. So, I mean, it's not fun for my dad, but he just goes and stand under, like next to the sea, basically, for hours. He just loves that sort of
Yeah,
sensory input of that. So that's his routine on Christmas Eve.
I love that.
Christmas Day, very similar probably to other households, but we would open presents early. And as me and my sister grew up, we would then go to mum and dad's house early in the morning to open presents together.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm all for opening presents early in the morning as well.
yeah,
Yeah.
I know we do the same at my house now. I don't think my
So
kids
do
would
we.
wait any
I don't
longer.
think I can wait, Amanda. Like
No,
it's
I
too
don't.
long. You know, people I really respect people who can wait until lunchtime and have the Christmas lunch and then open the presents. How you can manage that, I don't know.
No. So he once he's opened them, he likes to open them straight away. So I always remember, was it last year, or the year before, he got a donut maker, really random,
That's
and he
fun.
wanted to make donuts on Christmas Day just because. But obviously, Mum was cooking dinner. You can imagine households. So
Yeah, your
it is
kitchen
a bit of a let's
surfaces are full,
yeah.
aren't they, on Christmas Day with all the different trays and stuff. So there's no room for the donut maker.
Yeah. So, but he doesn't like waiting. So if he's got something, he wants to do it there. And and especially as our family grew with like husbands and bits, like we would all be chipping in trying to get him like get sort of the presents ready for him to use.
Yeah,
Um, and again, Christmas dinner, he will eat sometimes, but it's up to him. We don't put any like sometimes he'll sit at the table with us, and the
yeah,
last few years he has. Sometimes he'll eat it. It's got a little area in the lounge that he'll eat there.
yeah.
So yeah, it's always it's normal for him. And then in Boxing Day, again, the routine is to have family around for card night. And they have like a
Nice.
card night there. He loves family being around. So
Yeah,
obviously, when family can't make it because their plans change, he finds that really
yeah.
challenging. And all them emotions that he writes a list of people that he wants there. And so if they can't come, that's when for any sort of, I suppose, occasion, but especially for Christmas,
Yeah,
he finds that challenging and
yeah,
he he can't verbalize it, but he will write it down. You can tell he's a bit
yeah,
agitated on that day, or puts that don't like that's here. Obviously things change. So obviously
yeah.
me and my sister have both moved out, got children, so it's harder. And this year is probably the first year on my kids want to stay at my house. So we won't be going. So that's going to be a big change for him not to have us
Yeah.
there. But to get around that with having a second Christmas at my house, so he's come in and he's having a second Christmas there. So yeah, it's all something we've always known. Like it's just our
Yeah, everyone I
routines,
suppose
really.
has their own unique
Yeah,
Christmas anyway, don't they? Everyone has their like little traditions and little things they do. Yeah, it's
yeah,
really
but
nice.
he loves Christmas. He loves that. But obviously, then like any children and adults, it's a bit when it's over, it's a bit like underwhelming, isn't it? And that's what he
Completely.
filmed like perhaps towards the end of a Boxing Day. It's a bit underwhelming. It's like, oh, is that
Yeah,
it? Like that kind of
yeah. There's no more
all that
presents coming
excitement
through.
in him, and then it's over. So,
Yeah,
and then it's helping him manage
yeah.
that transition after that. So, yeah, it's always I could know that off the top of my head that routine.
You do. It's lovely. I really, oh, it's wonderful, and it shows, doesn't it, like the importance of routine for some children, and also the importance of flexibility as well, which almost sounds at odds, but it's not. It's like the flexibility and the changes, like you're saying, around meal time, and just not having, like, not thinking you've got to stick to the same rules that everybody else is doing because Christmas is supposed to be fun, isn't it? And
Yeah.
it's supposed to be lovely, and yeah, I
I mean,
like
what is hard for him is you never know what to get him now.
that. Oh,
Now at
really?
that age, he's trying to work out presents that he actually likes. Otherwise, we'll just keep saying sweets. Or he goes onto my mum and dad's Amazon account and just orders it himself. We've had that before.
Right. So we know that many families find Christmas overwhelming, with the change, like we said, with the changes of routine. What would you say in general then from your work? Would you say that the biggest challenges are for some children with SEND during like the festive
Yeah.
season?
I guess it's unpredictable. That if
Yeah,
the routine is different, they're not sure what's happening and they have no control over it. And then, thinking about my brother, he likes to have that certain element of control, like some of
yeah,
other children do. I think there's definitely sensory
yeah,
overwhelm.
Yeah.
massively at Christmas. Obviously, environmental changes. The house has changed. It's got Christmas stuff
Yeah.
in. For some children, they love that, but for some children, it's different. There's
It
lots of light.
smells different as well, doesn't
Yes,
it? It doesn't just
the
look
Christmas tree
different.
or whatever, and even
Yeah.
going out to the shops or wherever you go, it's always busier. So
Yeah, and all the
actually, that
shops
is
look different. Everywhere looks different, doesn't it?
so
Yeah.
it is very different from that point. And from my point, social expectations.
Yeah.
It's a really nice time to meet with family and friends, but actually, for some of our children with SEND, that is it's too much. This expectation's too
Yeah.
much. Like I'm thinking, my daughter, she loves seeing people, but if it gets too much, she just goes into herself, and
Yeah.
she needs that time to sort of regulate again because it's exhausting. It's for adults as well.
It's
I know.
exhausting for us. Yeah, I'm feeling exhausted
But
talking
yeah,
about
after
it.
a few days or something, you're like, I just need to
Yeah.
have to do my own. Just like
Yeah.
just sort
You've
of
got
get over
people
that.
around if they're staying over as well. It's like you might be sleeping in a different bedroom if you've got like grandparents over. There's all
Yeah,
sorts of massive changes, isn't there?
yeah.
Like you say, and you
And
don't
I
have.
and like just the emotions that go
Yeah.
through all of us during Christmas, that we feeling a range of big emotions
Yeah.
and leading up to there, that excitement, like counting down to Christmas, and then maybe anxiety around changes. And it's just so many big emotions that happen in a couple of weeks, which can cause that heightened dysregulation, that
Yeah.
heightened emotional, where it can be challenging and they find it harder to self-regulate and
Yeah.
may need more support regulating than normal
Yeah.
because, like we've said, there's so much things happen over
Yeah.
Christmas that their emotion is
Yeah.
all over the place.
Yeah, and it comes at the end of a long term at school as well for a lot of children, which is hard because I think, teachers and kids are on their knees and parents are on their knees at the
Yeah.
moment. It feels like it's been a long term. So there's
Getting
no
over
sort of
that term, yeah, you're getting
recovery
over
from
that as
that.
well, and you go
Yeah.
straight into like, oh, it's 2 days for Christmas. You
Yeah.
go in straight into that. So it's a yeah, busy time of year, isn't it?
Absolutely. But
Yeah,
wonderful still. We do love Christmas
yeah,
just for our
yeah.
listeners
Oh,
to
yeah, yeah. It's
know.
very exciting.
Absolutely. So parents, we mentioned parents, I think there's a lot of pressure, isn't there? Social media does not help, Amanda. There's a lot of pressure, isn't there, on parents to make Christmas look perfect. I know like on Boxing Day, I've been guilty of scrolling through Facebook and
Mm.
seeing other families and thinking, oh, we didn't have matching pajamas. What have we done? We didn't do this. We didn't go to that special light thing at a National Trust thing. And you know what I mean? You see all these amazing things that other families are doing, and you feel like you've got to build Christmas up to be this perfect Instagram worthy event. What would you give what advice would you give to families who are sort of like managing expectations around this and what really matters? What should they actually be focusing on?
It's really hard, isn't it? Because like you said, social media doesn't help. I think it's trying to remember that every family's Christmas is different. They
Yeah.
may see a post on social media, and that could be 10 minutes of perfect Christmas. The rest
Yeah.
of them, I'm like thinking about my children, we have some lovely moments, but it's not 24 hours a day during
No.
Christmas. There's a lot of things that go on in between. So it's so easy to compare yourselves and others, but it's trying to be kind to yourself, decide what you want as a family, what you want to do.
Yeah.
You know what works best for your children and your family. So it's setting realistic expectations, I guess,
Yeah.
and thinking, right, what do we actually want to do? What can my child cope with at that time? Do we want quiet days at home? Do we want to go and see family? What are the budgets for this? Because again, the Christmas is
Yeah.
expensive anyway. Adding onto this pressure of going to all these light shows and bits like that, and making it clear for what you want to do. And I guess take one day at a time. We
Yeah.
know with our children, one day they could be they love something, the next day they might not. So
Yeah.
it's actually don't be afraid to change plans as you go along,
Yeah.
because adapt them when needed and say no to whoever. And it's easier said than done because you might want to spend time with your family.
Yeah.
But I guess just set the priorities. That's my
Yeah.
main advice, and try and be kind to yourselves.
Almost like sitting around, isn't it, the dinner table and being like, right, what do we actually want to get out of Christmas? What are the key things we want to do as a family? And if the child's not speaking, maybe they
Yeah,
could use twinkle symbols and like communicate that way. But like setting like this is our Christmas plan, these are the things we want to do. And yeah, these are like, yeah, and the other things, great if we can, but let's focus on what we actually want to get out of it. But I think it's important as well for parents to make sure they've got things for them as well, because we often do everything for the kids, don't we? But Christmas is also for us.
definitely. Even just 5 minutes peace for having a cup of tea,
Yeah.
just try and try
Expectations
and
really high
yeah,
there.
well, yeah. Well, sometimes that is all
Yeah.
manage, isn't it? But if, yeah, even go out with a friend,
Yeah.
try and find that time to support yourself, and it's again
Yeah,
easier
buy
said
that
than done.
little cookie from the coffee
Yeah,
shop.
yeah,
Little
definitely.
things like that. Yeah, I agree. I think that's so important. And we mentioned about sensory overload. We know that can be a real big problem for a lot of children and adults. I find it overwhelming at the moment going to the shops when you've got Santa singing it, you're climbing up something, lights flashing, loads of people. It is overwhelming, especially when you've got lots on and lots to do. Um, but so what practical strategies can they use if you because you still a lot of the time you're still going to have to take kids with you to the shops. But they're going to be overwhelming potentially going to these environments for the children. What strategies would you recommend to sort of help support children through that?
So I think if you can plan things out in advance, let
Yeah.
them know what you're doing and when. Again, easier said than done because sometimes things come up last minute and you can't help
Yeah.
that. I really I love using visual timetables and sort of social situations where you can explain what's going to happen, what it might feel like.
Yeah.
Really give them as I mean, again, parents will know the children. Some children need all that detail, some it might cause more anxiety. So it's
Yes.
working that balance. Also, what adaptations can you make at home? So if you know you're going somewhere that's got like lights, noise, can you, when you get back, can you just not have your Christmas lights on for 10 minutes? Just
Yeah.
little adaptations like that that could support your child at home and you at home, or maybe not have the telly on at a
Yeah.
certain amount of time. Or if you've got like, don't use flashing lights, just use the calm lights. So
Yeah.
really planning ahead saying, oh, my child's going to have like quite a lot of sensory
Yeah.
input this day. What can I do at home to help?
I love that.
I guess, yeah, give choices as well. When you can, give your child a choice because that increases their control and reduces stress. So
Yeah.
really, and again, it's easier said than done as a parent. You know you need to get somewhere.
Yeah.
It might be right. What side of the car do you want to sit?
Yeah. Just
It's
some
simple like just
control.
give
Yeah.
them. Oh, what are you going to wear today? Then do you want to wear them or them?
Yeah.
And I guess I just reduce expectations on them days where there is a sensory overload.
Yeah.
Reduce them expectations. So, okay, they're getting home. We're not going to make them do that today. I'll support them by getting dressed or getting their PJs out. And then thinking about sort of the physical tools that you can take with you, even like a
Yeah.
bag of tricks.
Yes.
What
I love
your
it.
child likes, so like ear defenders, maybe sunglasses to help with
Yeah.
that, the lighting side of it, earphone, ear muffs, just any fidgets, anything that your child will help reduce that anxiety at the time.
Yeah.
And I guess just watching out for them signs of overload when you're out and
Yeah.
actually saying it's okay if you need a break.
Yeah.
We'll go over there, it's quieter over there, and make it seem normal.
Yeah.
Trying to not make a big issue of it, big deal of it. So it is
Nice.
hard. It is hard. There's not really a one fit answer for a situation you're in, but try and think of them little bits as you're out and about.
Yeah, and I suppose as well, like be looking out for other parents as well. And so, if you can see another parent struggling with a child, like maybe just a smile, or is there anything I can do to help? Or, do you want me to pick that up for you? Or I don't know, just little things like that make a huge difference, don't they, when you're out and about and if you're
Yeah,
struggling.
and especially as you can feel people watching you, and it is a stressful time, and you don't, and hopefully, more people will help now than they used to. But it's
Yeah.
just, being aware of that. It's more
Yeah.
of a heightened time for children out and
I think
about.
it's really nice. So changing routine, another one we mentioned that can be tricky. Things like visiting relatives or many school Christmas events that are happening, which are wonderful. Thank you, teachers. We do really appreciate it. But there's a lot, and I know teachers find it a lot as well. There's a lot going on this time of year. So how can we prepare children for this change in routine?
Again, warn of any changes if possible. Add it to
Yeah.
your visual supports at home. Again, social situations are really good ones. So if there's a school play, can that school provide you with bits, information about what they like, where's that child going to sit for the school
Yeah.
play? When is it going to happen? Where their practices is? It's talking to the school about that. What
Yeah.
adjustments can they make? And then work through them changes step by step, making it simple for them and tell them what the environment's going to be like.
Yeah.
Warn them before so they don't walk into somewhere and it's going to be lights and it's going to look different. And how long will that take? So giving them
Yeah.
as much information as can. For younger children or older, you can do a bit role play situation. You could
Oh,
role
that's
play.
fun.
Yeah, role play that this is going to happen. Right. How are you going to walk in? Where are we going to sit?
Yeah.
And do that together. Building breaks are going to be really important over the next few weeks as
Yeah.
it gets busier. Give them time. to have breaks wherever it is. And again, it's speaking to the school. They might be able to have breaks at school as well, just to have 10 minutes sitting somewhere quiet while they do that. I've said about giving choices already, but that would work at this point to help
Yeah,
if you do feel dysregulated or uneasy about something, allowing them that choice
yeah,
element in. I know for my children, giving countdowns helps as well, because
yeah,
transitions can be very tricky at this time of year as well. So
yeah.
just saying, okay, 3 more minutes, 2 more minutes, whatever works. And again, you can
Yeah.
use visuals for that as well.
I often find Alexa's good for that because it takes it away from us as well, being the bearer of bad news that the 3 minutes is up. If you set a timer on, if you've got an Alexa or even on a phone, just like setting the timer by then, it's like that's responsible for telling you that this, whatever you're doing is now over and we're doing this next thing. You can take it away from us. Maybe that's just me
That's a
passing
really good
it on
idea.
to
Yeah, I
Alexa.
haven't thought of that, Alexa. Yeah, definitely phones, and that's a really good idea. And again, you can even on like YouTube, you can get some visual, like timers. I used to use that when I
Yeah.
was in the car, so you can see that visual sand timer going,
Yeah,
just to help
absolutely.
you there. And I think the hardest one is trying to keep regulated yourself when you're busy, because we know it's very busy as parents,
Yeah.
but trying to keep yourself calm and regulated as well. Not try not to show how you're feeling all the time. Trying to,
Yeah.
and it's easier said than done.
Would you
And
recommend
always,
lots of chocolate then?
yes,
Cups of teas.
yeah, definitely. And also, I think it would be good to debrief with your child after any changes to say, how did you
Yeah.
find that? That would help to sort of work out, did that work? Did that planning
Yeah.
work? Or what can we do after
Oh, I
if it
love
happens
that.
again? Yeah,
Score
just to,
mummy out of 10. How did I do? What can I do better? I love that.
yeah. But it's
Get
like
some
then you
feedback.
can gain insights on what
Yeah.
worked and tell the school or tell, especially over that Christmas break, if there's anything that your child can verbalize or let you know how
Yeah.
you did, just look, think of positives and actually say, oh, well done, you did really good then.
Yeah, absolutely. I love that. I love getting feedback from them. That's such a clever idea. It's brilliant. Food then, we know that's a tricky one as well. Especially with different meals. There's a pressure, isn't there, from grandparents or other relatives if your child isn't eating the same as everybody else or doesn't fancy the turkey dinner with the Brussels sprouts. And we know food can be a real genuine issue for a lot of children. So yeah, what tips do you have around supporting children with restricted diets, maybe sensory sensitivities, all of that sort of stuff around food at Christmas?
I would, if you're getting supported by a dietitian, definitely carry on with their advice,
Yeah,
and see what they would suggest. I mean, I would always take some safe food with you. For
yeah,
me, it's better a child eats what they like, because if we're going to try and force a child to eat, they're going to become dysregulated.
yeah,
And they won't eat. They'll shut down or they'll sort of get cross. So actually, think about, do they need to eat this? We know it's part of it, maybe a tradition to eat Christmas
yeah,
dinner, but actually, if your child's not enjoying it, can we do it a different way, or let them have a play with it before, or warn them this is going to happen?
yeah,
Do you want to see what it looks like? And because of them sensory differences, it depends on, sometimes texture can be a big one for our
yeah,
children. And I know my son hates the mash. It's because
yeah.
it's that texture of it. So even if, depending on what you're parenting, what you want from it as well, even just offer a little bit, offer choices, and don't demand that it's eaten.
Yeah, I suppose not overloading the plate and actually if you're able
Yeah,
to do the bit where you serve yourself almost so
yeah,
they can
that
pick
could
and they've
be,
got the
yeah.
control over it.
Yeah, and like celebrate any wins. Oh, well done,
Yeah,
you licked that Brussels
yeah,
sprout. You licked it. So just celebrate any little wins, and try and ensure they're regulated at meal times. If
yeah,
they come into the meal dysregulated, it's going to be a lot harder to get them trying new foods if that's what you want. And yeah, so it definitely that can differ depending on what you want as a
yeah. No,
parent, yeah,
absolutely.
what
And
you
I think
want. But I would say definitely don't put too much pressure on the
no.
children to eat it.
And at the end of the day, you just need them to be fed, don't you? So as long as they're
Yeah,
eating
it's
something,
not going to make any
have to be
difference
that, does
if
it?
they've eaten a Christmas dinner, is it? As long as
No, to
they've
having
eaten.
pizza, who cares? You know what I mean? At the end of the
Yeah,
day, does it really matter? And it doesn't. As long as Christmas has been, yeah, it's about family and being happy and yeah,
yeah.
making it special for kids, isn't it? So yeah, let's not. Yeah, I completely agree. Um, what about families then? So we know some families feel sort of isolated over Christmas if their children aren't able or find it tricky to join in with some events, or like traditional celebrations and things like that. Is there anything you'd recommend for them, sort of alternative ways to make meaningful festive traditions. So if that, if there's the carol service in the village that they don't feel like they're able to do, or there's the light switch on at the town hall that they're not able to do, like what can they do instead?
I would say, can they make little ones at home? Can you
Yeah.
switch on the lights in your
Oh, I love
house?
that. I want to do that.
Just something little, or, listen to some carols on YouTube, on the telly, things
Yeah.
like that. But I also think this day and age, technology, there could be, if you want to connect with people, can you do it on screens?
Yeah.
Can you do a quiz as a family? Your child doesn't want to go somewhere, can you do it on a screen? Can you,
Yeah.
do it that way instead? I think it's just creating your own small tradition. So it
Yeah.
could be something simple as having a special breakfast on
Yeah.
the Christmas day to say, shall we do this? Or if your child does need a day in to regulate, can you make it a bit fun, make it into a little activity like a cinema morning, or making a fort, baking something or doing something they enjoy, just making it special.
Yeah.
And I
I want to
guess,
do Christmas at your house, Amanda.
oh, it's not this fun, don't worry. Normally, it's a hard balancing act, because
Yeah.
obviously you're trying to maybe cook Christmas dinner or whatever you're doing and doing that, but trying to make little
Yeah.
adjustments in home and actually spending some time all together playing
Yeah,
a
because that's
game
what
or
kids
something like
want,
that.
really,
Yeah.
isn't it?
And I sometimes have to remind myself, just put my phone down, Amanda. You
Yeah.
don't need your phone at that point because it's so automatic for
Yeah.
us to check it. And they just want that connection. They
Yeah.
need that. So, and ask your child what they would like to do. And I know
Yeah.
you can't always get what they want, because I know my child will want to go to Lapland or something like that. But
Yeah.
but it's actually getting their views and what can we do, and is there any alternative ways? And there's so many like good charities out there that will do maybe online parties and bits like that. So having a little research
I love that.
to connect.
I love as well, like, because lots of families do have their own like little traditions. You don't really find it out until you like marry into a family, and then you end
Yeah.
up finding out, and they think it's like just everyone does this tradition. You're like, oh, that's a bit unusual. We don't do this in my house, but we do this, and like
Yeah.
everyone has their own little versions of Christmas, which I think is really nice. I just love your idea of turning the lights, having like the lights, the Christmas lights at your house is like a turn on the lights event. I'm just imagining like Nana comes round, and it's like she's there, and we're all crowded around, and yay, she's turned the
Well,
lights
funny
on.
enough, we're getting our lights outside this weekend. I'll take a picture
Yes.
for you,
I would
Georgina.
like to see a picture, and I want to know who's turning the lights on as well. Which family celebrity you have doing
Just
it?
me.
It's you. That's big enough. So finally, because you've been brilliant, thank you so much for your advice. My last question for you is sort of how can you reassure parents? What's your one piece of advice or reassurance you'd like to leave parents with as they head into this exciting? It is exciting, but it is
Yeah.
busy festive season.
I think it's okay to do Christmas your own way.
Yeah.
You know your child is special. It will be special whatever you do, and you know your child the best. So do really what makes you happy and what makes your child happy. And just remember, everyone's experiences are different. I'm saying about mine, but yours will be different, and everybody's is different. So really, just trying to enjoy. Don't put pressure on yourself. Just do what makes you happy in your family.
Thank you so much, Amanda. You've been brilliant. I've really enjoyed it. I think it's been so useful for so many families. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you.